Welcome to the Hot Pot Insights show. I'm Kunkit and I'm here to bring you the perspective and insights of extraordinary people in ordinary lives. A podcast for those who are looking to embark on a journey of discovery and growth. I would like to introduce our first guest onto the show. He is one of my close friends during the days of national service. Back in 2018, during I Compete Natural New South Wales, he achieved first, second, and third placing in the categories of bodybuilding under 70 intermediate, classic physique novice, and classic physique open, respectively. In 2019, he coached his friend Gary Yu to achieve 4 times first placing in the back-to-back shows. He is currently based in Sydney, Australia, undergoing Masters of Architecture at University of New South Wales, and he's the ambassador of World Gym Casare and sponsored athlete of Primabolics and Riderwear. If you'd like to join him on his fitness journey to Natural Pro, you can find him on Instagram at armbigbig, ARMBIGBIG. He is, from my knowledge, the most dedicated person to his craft I know. Please welcome Marcus Cole.
Hi
Marcus.
everyone, nice to meet you guys. Hi Kunkit, thanks for having me here, man.
No problem. Really welcome you to the show. Thank you for carving out your time in your schedule itself. I understand that you just finished a gym session, right?
Yeah, I usually train at night now because like in the day I have classes, online classes, and like it's easier to focus at night because there's less people.
Yeah. I remember you always prefer to go to the gym when there's lesser people hogging the weights and the stations, right?
That's how it is. Yeah.
So what do you do today? Like in terms of your what area do you focus on for your gym session?
Oh, today I train like basically pull. So pull session is basically back, rear delts, and biceps. And tomorrow's a rest day for me. So just just nothing special, everyday routine.
That's nice. That's definitely I'll touch on your routine and how you can plan it and how you plan it, and
Sure.
maybe you can share a bit. But if you do not want to share your secret sauce, it's really up to you.
No, there's no secrets, man. I'll definitely share. Just ask me anything you want, and yeah, keep an open mind. I'm
Yeah,
still learning, man. It's always a learning journey.
that's great to hear that. All right, so understanding that 2020 has been very strange and different, we will definitely touch on that in the next few minutes. But personally, Are you looking forward to anything that you're looking forward to, say, in 2021 or 2022?
I think this whole COVID situation and in 2019, end of 2019, and then leading up to this year, after Sydney had a 3-month lockdown as well, but I think it started earlier than Singapore. So like that was quite tough because like I mean no one experienced that before, so we have to like find a way to do what we usually do and keep some sanity and somehow like gym it was hard to be honest. So in terms of plans, like yes, actually 2021 will be probably like the most exciting year for me because like I'm here and I'm finishing my studies in architecture. So um, next year will be like full of uncertainty, and I'm actually looking forward to get like my PR, but that will take like another probably 1.5 years to 2 years to get it. So we'll be going on this thing called like a temporary visa, and yeah, basically just getting the local experience before I can actually attain that PR status. So I actually like it in Australia so far. I've been here many years, so I wanna stay here.
That's nice.
So I think the uncertainty part will be the tough one that I have to get my head around and just work my way through. So first by securing a job, English test. There's a lot of other things, but the studies part is finished.
Okay, that's good. But in terms of bodybuilding, is there like maybe any goals or
Yeah,
competitions upcoming that you're looking forward?
definitely. Actually, the plan was to compete this year for a pro qualifier, but unfortunately, due to COVID, my plans had to be shifted back because like prep takes time. off season takes time, and yeah, it wasn't really possible. So I think like putting my priorities for the first time, I put bodybuilding kind of like at the back end. So I just focus on training. I'm just happy to be back in the gym after COVID, but like as of now, there's no plans to compete this year. But I definitely shift it to after maybe end of next year, and like attaining the pro card will be my next step, because for those of you who don't know, like all this while, like I train like as an amateur, so pro status is basically what it means in layman's term is you can compete for money. Now you only compete for like trophies,
And
gold trophy,
experience.
and experience, yes, but like everything is an experience, but everybody can be a competitor if you actually just compete, but not everyone can compete to earn money. Yeah.
How is it much more stringent, say amateur versus pro, or is there like what are the qualifications that you
Oh,
need to
like
qualify?
so basically, once you get a pro card from a qualifier, you can only compete in pro shows. And of course, this is really hard. Like once you start competing in pro shows, everyone is probably like same standard at least or better. So you just gotta keep improving and find a way to the top, which is not so easy. But that's why it's just my hobby. It's not like my career. To those people who have it as a career, it's really tough because they don't really pay a lot, and the money that you earn is probably gonna spend to all your groceries, man, and everything. That's why sponsorship is somewhat important, which you'll probably ask me about it anyway.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
that's very interesting. You mentioned about pro card. Is that only applicable to say within just Australia, or like if you are awarded a pro card, can you compete
Any
anywhere else?
No, so basically there are a lot of federations in a nutshell, and usually when you get a pro card in that federation, you stick to that federation because it's sort of like a loyalty thing. So most people will try to go for the pro card for this thing called IFBB, it's like International Federation of Bodybuilding. So that one is like you'll be able to get a pro card and compete at the Olympia. That's where like Arnold competed back last time. But the catch is like, I mean, it's really motivating, and like I wouldn't say no to that, but the only difference for me is that I decided to stay to natural bodybuilding. So if you don't already know, IFBB is not drug tested, so you can basically do whatever you want, and it's not really a bad thing. It's good. Like if you have what it takes and you stand on an even playing field with your competitors, I would say go all out for it if you can make a career out of it. But for me, I'm just very realistic. It's just a hobby, so I don't want to put my health like under all that stress. So I'm just doing what I can do as much as I can, and it's an icing on the cake if I can get a pro card for a natural federation. It means they test for drugs, and from there I can earn money. Who knows? If I can't, I can't. It's okay because like I'm still happy that I can train and compete.
Yeah, I think previously we talked about this in terms of natural competition.
Yeah,
Is that it's mainly in some of the countries, but some countries do
yeah,
not support it. Like for example, I
yeah,
understand like
yeah,
Singapore, right?
yeah. Last time Singapore didn't really have it, or rather, I was not really aware of it. If I had known they had it, I would probably join, and I wouldn't look for things like ICN because I had to fly all the way here just to compete, right? But based on like social media, I found out that there are actually some federations. I think it's called like NBFA, and I think there's one more by NBFA is the one that I know. It's called Natural Bodybuilding something something, but basically the test results were very strict. Like I had a friend who got second place, and the first place guy was tested positive, so he actually moved up to the first. Yeah, so it's good that the sport is expanding. And but if I'm not wrong, like I went to Thailand recently, no, they don't have drug tested federations. Yeah, it's bodybuilding is not really a it's like a subculture sport, so it's not, like people pay high ticket fees to watch monsters, right? They don't, like, you go to the zoo, you don't want to watch like a small kitty cat, you want to watch like the lion, right? So nobody is going, it's very hard for someone to start a federation that is drug tested and get a lot of sponsorship and promoters, because they're not gonna watch normal people on stage, right? They want to watch like the best of the best. That's why like the Mr. Olympia in America is like huge. So that's to each his own, I guess. Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yep.
So I think maybe we can carry on to the main topic. Is
Sure.
that I know that you are very meticulous with your planning, from say nutrition to workout.
I
I,
try to
I've,
be. Yeah.
I've seen like snippets of like your Instagram where
Yeah.
you shared with I think your goals and in your notebook and your workouts. I think you
Oh
do plan
yes,
your
yes.
workouts, especially I would believe it's during the COVID as well as the lockdown period where
Yeah.
gyms. I understand the parks were
It's
also closed
just
as well, right?
yeah, everything is closed, so it's really hard. Like I mean, like whatever happened on the outside, like we can't really control, but you can control what your choices are. So like all the routine and like writing the stuff down is very normal. It's like clockwork to me. So I mean, I've been training for like end of this year is shit, I haven't lost count, man. I think it's 11 years. Yeah, it's 11 years that I started consistently training. Means in 11 years, I haven't missed a workout for more than 2 weeks. The only time I miss a workout for like a week plus is because of food poisoning. But that's normal. Everybody's gonna not be able to do anything during that period. But other than that, I haven't stopped for like 1 month or something.
I remember the last time you
Yeah.
also did have like injury. Like, do you not also stop for recovery?
Injury?
I think it's your
Like
arm or
what?
something like that.
Oh, like if you're referring to the some videos you saw me training with the shoulder guard, that was mainly like I just felt it was a bit inflamed. It wasn't really injury, but I'm like super kiasu as what they say. So I didn't want to take any risks, so I just wore the guard. I didn't touch that side, but I still train, man. Yeah, like I don't really
Dedicated.
believe in total rest. Like you can rest, but like you must be smart about it. But I didn't feel that it was serious enough to totally don't train. I mean, for yourself, you know because you're archer, right? So you had some shoulder issues as well, right?
Yes, I do.
So
So
yeah,
I
so
think there's a lot of mental aspect to say sports. I think
yeah,
that would be very
yeah, it's
huge factor to
big part.
bodybuilding
Yeah,
as well. So I would think that some people who sustain a certain injury or because of COVID or the lockdown, they will not be able to go to their usual gym or usual
yeah,
place to work out or to exercise.
yeah,
Like
yeah. I
how
understand.
how do you what is your thought process, or how do you motivate yourself to really go ahead
Yeah,
with say
like
finding innovative ways to carry
to
on
just
workout?
find a way around the problem. Yeah, like I think that really depends on like what how much you really have passion for something. Like I can understand when the COVID happened, many people don't go to the gym or like they stop what they're doing regularly because it's really tough. But maybe they still do something else that they love, like maybe it's like going out for a jog, like, or maybe they do even more when COVID happened. Some people say COVID was like a blessing in disguise, like spend time with family and everything. So like for me, it's more like because I've been doing this for so long, I'm not gonna just because of a small setback that we can't really control, like the gym is closed, right? Then we stop totally. But I went to find ways, like I went to buy like handles, or I went to like the in here there's this place called Bunnings. It's something like well, for a moment I forgot
Decathlon.
that, but it's something like Decathlon or more like those warehouse shops in Singapore. Like you just buy like metal clips and stuff. So like I just bought those cheap stuff so that I just have something to grip. Let's say I'm holding something, and I went to like the here is Coles, so like the supermarkets. I went to buy like they have 10-liter water bottles. So I bought like two of it, and I just use them as weights. Like you can find anything as weights, right? I mean, body weight was already tough because I wasn't used to body weight stuff. So the first 3 months of lockdown, like even the first month is like already my body's not used to it because I'm doing more things like walking lunges like longer. That the gym you can't really do because it's crowded. And then I was doing like all the like weird exercises that you need more balance, not so much of like iron, weights. So I think that part, like mentally, what motivated me was really like I just wanted to make sure the 3 months I work on something that I never worked on before. So when I come back, I can be better at my craft. Like maybe for example, like everyone squats, right? But not everybody trains their core, or not everybody does accessory work like one-legged squat or one-legged pistol squat. So these kind of things you can do when you don't have a gym. And when I went back to the gym, yeah, I lost a bit of like weight or size naturally because you don't train as heavy. But when you come back to the gym with all that balance and stability, it helps so much more to get back on the routine. And I know like Melbourne is really tough right now. Like I think they're still in their lockdown or like it's just easing up. So I got some friends there, so they are super into like fitness, and they too have been doing the same thing for 6 months. So that's double. So I can't complain, right? Like I'm very grateful that it was only 3 months for me, but I think it's really like the main point is really how bad you want something. Yeah, I think with that kind of mindset, I think you can easily apply to other areas. Yeah.
So maybe a quick question is that
Yep.
willpower over structure. Do you agree
Yep.
with it? Or do you
What
think
do you
that
mean by wait?
structure,
What do you mean by structure? It means like the things you do daily, like the
yeah,
routine,
it
like
could be a routine, it could be a habit, something that you already had structured into your like your daily grind, or
yeah.
will
I
it be
think
structure over willpower?
no, I think willpower for sure over structure. Because you just think about it, like everybody, some people in the gym they have like personal trainers, you have like coaches, everything. They give programs and stuff, right? Everybody can follow a program. Everybody can follow a diet. Is given the thing like right in front of you. You have the structure laid out in front of you. You have resources, right? Everything is at the comfort at your fingertips. Like the gym is open 24 hours. The best gym, you have money, you can pay. But if you don't have the willpower, right, you can't do anything, man. Like you do a set or you do something that you're uncomfortable with. Once you're uncomfortable, you give up. So there's no point having like structure if you don't have that bare minimum willpower, in my opinion. And the 3 months of lockdown proved just that. Like so many people like went out of shape, man. Yeah. So I think that's key.
Then how do you sustain willpower in that sense? Or will there be like a mental fatigue?
Yeah, actually it was really tough. Like yeah, I would say I couldn't be at my best. Like there were times where I like, okay, I'm gonna take more rest days because I know that if I that's sometimes at a point I felt like some days are just not like it doesn't really help, like because it's not as what it used to be. But there's gonna be like down days and stuff. But I think the most important thing is don't give up. Like if you are still doing 75% of what you're doing, that's still very commendable, in terms of a situation that you can't change. And like school all became like online, so it was really tough. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Maybe can you share with us like what's your story behind getting into bodybuilding like from your young age?
Okay, sure. Like, so the whole story, I won't go super into detail because it's too long. But like, basically, when I was young, I was like bullied. So and I was like a fat kid for like at least 6 years. There's this thing called a tough club.
Yeah, I was in it too as
So
well.
like, yeah. So I think in Singapore, everyone knows what a tough club is. Like,
Yeah,
it's trim and fit, but if you flip it around, it's fat lah.
fat.
So it was quite sad because like I naturally wasn't like confident as a kid. So self-esteem, everything is hard. And like my school was famous for like rugby, St. Andrews. So like, and once you're not a rugby player, you're already like you feel a bit inferior. I mean, at least that's how I felt because rugby is like the most celebrated sport, and everyone's like not say big, but like they were like fit, like. And then I was that kid who like can't go for like I can't. When everyone goes for lunch, I have to run around the stadium and everyone can see. So like it's quite embarrassing as well, and like that affected my confidence a lot. So yeah, then from there I decided, like I'm gonna do something. And then luckily my dad was into triathlon, so he like really forced me to run, and I hated it. But after that, it kind of changed, cause like I started to see results. Like I was getting skinnier, skinnier, and skinnier, and it was too skinny, man. Like if you look at the photos, I
Yeah.
became too skinny, and I started to realize like it's not because I was fat that I was bullied. Maybe it was something to do with my confidence. Because when I was fat, I was bullied. And then when I was skinny, like people also look down. Like hey, like bro, like I started to want to go to the gym. I saw these fit people around, but they're like, bro, you're like so skinny. Like why bother? Like you'll never be big. So like I always had this mentality like no, I'm gonna prove you wrong. Cause last time they called me fat, then I became skinny, right? Now I'm skinny, they call me skinny, so I'm gonna be buffer. So I trained and I don't know man, like just very naturally I went to the gym at like 18, 17. Then naturally after a year actually I almost gave up because I saw almost no results. But I don't know why I just didn't give up. I just stayed. And I think because it helped to read all those articles and like they say like it comes slow, natural gains, it's not so fast. Then fast forward 6 years, I didn't compete for like 7 years, man. Like most people nowadays, I know like after training 1, 2 years in the gym, they compete. It's like a thing. But back then, it's like I just train and enjoy and like okay, not enjoy like it's tough, but enjoy the process. Like when I look back, the 7 years of just training luckily I didn't compete too early because I needed to get the foundation right. I need to know more. And only after about 6, 7 years, when I came to Adelaide, that was before Sydney. I went to Adelaide for my bachelor's. Then I met some really encouraging people in the gym, and they say like, "Hey, like actually you've been training for so long, your shape is pretty good. Why not try compete?" Then actually all the while I wanted to compete, but again I was never confident until these people are the catalysts. They push you. So I think like even though it's a very lonely sport, I would say bodybuilding is your own personal good journey. But if you surround yourself with the right people, you can actually excel faster. Yeah. So then fast forward another 3 years, I competed and I'm here today, man.
Great. Maybe let's go back a bit. When you started bodybuilding and you mentioned that
Yeah.
you face certain struggles, like is there maybe like a hero that you look up to, or that you really the values that they showcase that is something that you really want to emulate and to really
Yeah.
that it really inspire you?
Okay. There's a few people. So if I got to categorize them, one, I don't know the person. The other person, I know, but that's a family member, so it doesn't really count. But if you're asking about that other hero, yes, like this that this Japanese guy that I met in Adelaide, he he was the one that actually, like okay, like if it does in more the later years, but he was the one that really set that spark in me, like, I've been training so long, why not compete and try something different. But if you talk about the earlier years, man, it's like every genuine person that really see me working hard and they told me like, hey bro, like, like like they really respect the work ethic. And then we exchange, I pick the brains, he picked mine, then we just help each other improve. And so the other two categories I mentioned, one is not someone I don't know, and that's obviously Arnold. Because like I think he's very different from other people because like he's not like only bodybuilder. Everybody knows about him. He became like famous in other aspects, but he have that same mentality that helped him succeed. He doesn't like settle. Like if he just say like he win all the Olympias and then he doesn't have the drive anymore, he'll probably just stay. He won't be as famous as he is now. So that's one person. And second person, the most important is my dad. Because he's like when I was young, when he forced me to lose weight, he already started triathlon, and when I went to like Australia with him to like help out at the race, like volunteer. The hours are crazy. Like in the morning, he takes about 17 hours to complete the race. So like to me, that was pure mental, because he's a regular dude. He's not even a pro. He just train for it. I always see him training, swim, bike, run. I don't know, like he always the other way around. He always say bodybuilding is crazy, and he don't know how he does it, how I do it. But on the flip side, I think Ironman is worse, man. Like Ironman is probably one of the toughest as well. Of course, it's only on the show day that you perform, but it's not something that you like. Maybe for another sport, I'm not saying other sport is not easy, but for example, some people are just really good at running, right? and the whole year they can sit on their ass. But when they comes to the day of the contest and they really run, if they are runner base, they can still beat a guy who's an average guy who trains every day for the whole year, right? But for the Ironman thing, crazy man, like the distance is really you can't not train for it. So I think he is one of my earlier inspirations, like never give up, that kind of mentality. It all came from him.
But why did you not follow in his footsteps in terms of triathlon?
I did. So when I was young, after that I did triathlon with him as well. Since young, my dad always made me try every sport. He wanted, because he doesn't know what I really like, and I didn't really have a passion or anything. So he made me do everything. And I remember the feeling like when I finished the triathlon at the finish line, it was amazing. Like when you take the medal and you completed something, and it's not really you're not competing with anyone. Everyone's doing it, but you're competing your own timing, right? So from that was the same feeling I had when I started training because I saw the results. And the process is tough, but the results it feels so good. But why bodybuilding instead of triathlon? Because I feel that I'm a bit more vain, and bodybuilding is more on the physical. So that's just a pure fact. It's more superficial. Like let's say I'm a triathlete and I'm in outside. I look fit and everything, but nobody will really know that I'm a triathlete unless I wear a shirt like triathlete, or like
Yeah,
Ironman finisher. But I feel that as a bodybuilder, your hard work reflects. It's like very obvious. Like how can this guy not be hardworking? Like, and this guy is
it's
disciplined.
recognizable everywhere.
It's recognizable even if you don't compete. So I think that's why I was more drawn to that. So I just I admit I'm vain, and I can't be not vain because before that I was really so affected. Right, I was fat, and then I became skinny, and then I was like I would say a lot of body image issues at the start, and not everyone experiences this. Maybe those who experience it can understand. Like you always look in a mirror every day, and then like you don't really feel comfortable in your own skin for some strange reason. Now it's so much better compared to last time when I didn't work out. So I think working out really helped. And if I did triathlon, maybe I will still be like very lean because the sport requires you to be very lean and you burn a lot. But I don't think I would have recovered from the body image issues even if I did triathlon. That's why I went more to bodybuilding. Yeah.
I see. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, it's quite interesting. Like, because you asked me these questions, I don't really ask myself. It's
Yeah,
just very natural. Yeah.
yeah. So in your I won't say bodybuilding career, but in your bodybuilding
Yeah.
journey over the past 11 years,
Yeah.
how has maybe failures or any apparent failures that
Yeah.
set you up for later success? And is there any specific
Oh,
failure of yours?
yeah. Like, I think like generally in life, like all the things that like school, maybe school, like not all results are good, and like maybe some things I wanted to achieve, I didn't. Maybe like let's say architecture. Like I think the biggest situation I face now is actually getting a job, cause like COVID didn't help. COVID made it worse, and even before COVID, it was already hard to get a job because I'm not in my home country, right?
Yep.
So we are not. It's quite competitive. Everybody wants to get a job. Everybody wants to get PR, but they prioritize locals here. It's very different.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's like a bigger struggle for me. But I think if you have to relate it to like bodybuilding or like gym mentality, I think that's what I really need right now because there's no point applying that mentality in gym because I already got that, right. I already managed to use that mentality to improve there. But if I were to take it to other aspects, I think that's a really it's a really trying period and a testing period for me right now to use that mentality to not give up and persevere, even though next year is going to be very uncertain.
Yeah, I think what you have shared so far is that your experience through bodybuilding has spilled over into your other aspect of your life to
Yeah,
really
I
help you
really
to.
hope so. I really hope so.
I would think so.
Yeah, yeah. It has to. If not, there's no point. Like if you're doing one thing, you excel in it, but you can't bring it to other areas. Then your other things in life are like quite crappy. Then I wouldn't say you really learn from it. You just like a sailboat, just pass through the motion, go through the motion, but you didn't really learn from it to apply to other areas, which is what is more important.
Do you take a very constructive approach in terms of, or very applicable approach in terms of making sure that you apply whatever experience you have to enhance your other aspect of your life?
Um,
Like from bodybuilding
strategic.
like, is there
I
like a
would
thought
say,
process to it? Like because you mentioned
uh,
about your current struggle of ending graduating your masters, looking for a job, but
yeah,
because of COVID, something that you cannot control, but
yeah,
because it's being relatable to bodybuilding, where at that point of time, you cannot go to the gym, but you
yeah.
use that period to really build on something. Is this something that is a thought process that you brought it over from bodybuilding into, say, your current studies, architectural type of
Career plans,
career?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think if you now that you put it that way, definitely there is a thought process, but I would say it's a bit subconscious. It's already inbuilt in me.
that's good.
It's not like it's not so meticulous that I have to write it down anymore because I've been doing this thing for like a while. But I would say also on the other hand, it's also very what's the word, like fluid, like it's very fluid. So like
It comes
depending, it
natural,
kind of
right?
like yeah, it comes like in a situation like then I realized that, oh, like this is how I should approach it. But actually I've been doing repeating this situation, how I handle the situation many times. Just that I didn't really think about that. So if you put it that way, yes, it's quite strategic.
I think it's very similar to posing in competition or in
Oh, that's
bodybuilding.
true. That's true.
So it's always like you build up that muscle memory. Then it, even though you are not doing
Yeah,
it or you're not thinking about it, but your body reacts to it
yeah,
in that sense. I think if that's the
yeah.
case,
Believe it or not, like yeah,
lighter
yeah,
topic is that I know you have your love for food, right? So and we were
yeah.
talking before this recording is
It's
that you
tough,
never
man.
miss a meal.
Yeah,
You never miss a meal. So
yeah.
how do you balance your love for food with bodybuilding?
This stuff. Yeah, like so, like I like can eat a lot, and
Yeah.
like Singapore, I miss Singapore food so much. But I think like really having, I have this rule like 70%. So like 70% means in the whole day, like 70% of my meals, I try to keep it clean. So I have that leeway, like 30% I can eat practically outside and whatever I want. And that kind of, I notice it kind of keep my body still in check and not over, like overdoing things and have to do cardio just to lose the fat. But like cravings, all that, I really have a tough time. I think most people have, like when I see like something I like, I always go into this mental struggle. But at the end of the day, I usually win because I always think of like what do I want now and what do I want the most. So I always think like, oh shit, that thing is damn good. But after that, I end up not buying it. Like it's funny because like before contest, for example, like keep thinking of like, oh, I'm gonna eat all this food after contest, donut lah, all the sugary stuff. But after the contest, I didn't even eat it, man. Cause like I don't know, it's just a mental thing. Cause I think when your body is in starvation mode, you tend to crave a lot of stuff. But it's not really what you want. It's more of like the mind tells you.
Maybe it's like the first thing that it pops up of the blue because maybe you have
Yeah,
seen
yeah,
someone walking past you eating a donut, right?
yeah. Like you never know all these like subconscious factors. But if you're asking on a normal day basis, I try to make my meals as much as I can to fit what I should be eating, but yet add some flavor. Like now my to go is kimchi, man. Like if you look at my stories, like,
Yeah.
every meal has kimchi. It's so nice.
Yeah, I
Like
know.
and it's not unhealthy. It's good detox food.
It
But
is.
yeah. So I just try to keep it like, I know it's everyone's gonna say it's boring. It's chicken breast, eggs, kimchi, and rice. But if you put them all together, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's better than what I did last time. Last time was more hardcore, like sweet potato and chicken breast, no sauce. I know you have seen that before. Last time you saw me bring my takeaway box, but
Yeah.
I don't really do that anymore. I try to make it more flexible, and I also notice like you have to learn from what you've been doing. If some people always do what they're doing, but they never like look at the results. So like I always do that. It worked for me, but it worked for me back then. Back then I was smaller, I wasn't as my muscle wasn't as mature, so that food is good for me, but if I want to improve, I cannot keep restricting my calories. So I have to be able to let go of that mental barrier. Like I can't eat sweet potato and chicken breast for the rest of my life, man.
Yep.
I have to be able to eat other things that give me more calories. And when the time comes, yes, you can be strict, but being strict the whole year round is not going to help you improve.
Yep.
That's that's one main problem, especially for natural bodybuilders, because you need to eat like to grow. You can't just eat. Yeah, most people don't eat. You know why? Because they want to look good all year round. They want to have the abs, but that's beach body. That's understandable, and they want to look good for the girls, whatever the reason is. But for me, I really want to get a pro cut, and I got to let go of the abs. I have to try to get size first before I cut. So yeah, that's part. That's mainly the diet side of things.
Nice. Do you remember like what went through your thoughts back in 2018 when you were crown champion? So I remember seeing your photo where you have your eyes closed, you have both your arms raised up. Like what went through
Yeah.
your mind then?
At that moment,
Yeah,
talking about at that moment,
at that moment.
it's like the best feeling in the world, man. Like everything I've been doing for the past few years is like it finally come to fruition, you know. Like it just like like a sort of like a mini flashback, like from the start when you started training, all the people that say you can't, all the people that weren't very nice to you, or like like people that don't understand, especially at the beginning, because you don't have the results yet, right? But then when you win, and then like from then on, nobody says like, "What are you doing?" Like, or like, "Why are you eating so many eggs?" You know, everything is like it comes full circle. So it's really a good. It's only a stepping stone still for me, but it's really good thing to have that achievement. Like I always look back on it and like say that at the start I always think I can't do it, or you doubt yourself. Like I know like some people are gonna ask like why, how do you handle doubt? So like that's one very big thing to handle. Like if once you just put your head down, work, get the result, you will doubt yourself way less because you know you've done it before. You know you overcome the adversity, the mental challenges before. So everything in life that comes ahead, like if it's tough, it won't be as tough because you know like I've been through worse. I've been through 5 months of eating sweet potato and chicken breast and zero outside food, no cheat meal. I don't believe in cheat meal that stuff. So yeah, I think at that moment it just feels like amazing feeling. It's like yeah, it just can't be bought, man. Can't buy with money.
Then how is that experience compared to the year after in 2019 when you helped Gary achieve his 4
Oh,
goals? Yeah.
that was a different kind of feeling. So all this while you do it for yourself, but I never ever helped anyone before. Okay, so like if you want, I'll go a bit more detail. Like so, funny thing is, Gary messaged me congrats, right, on Instagram. I never even met this guy. I never don't even know this guy. I don't even follow him. But he saw like I train at this gym, and then he followed me, and then he messaged like congrats. And I wasn't even living in Sydney, so I left. I went back to Singapore to work, and then 1 year later, I went back to the. I applied for school and I came to Sydney, and then the funny thing is like I saw him in the gym, and then he looked familiar because 1 year ago he did message me, right, and I did see his profile a bit, and then he was like, "Do you remember me?" or something like that, and then we just hit it off, and like from there it's like I know he trains there, and then I never really thought of training anyone, but when I saw him training, funny thing is like I really saw a part of me in him. Like I saw how hardworking he was, and these kind of people are really very hard to come by. Like I know that he also has a lot of potential. And then from there, naturally we talked, took a photo together, and then we started to meet up, had training sessions together. And then one day he was like thinking of competing. Then I told him like just do it. So I think like having that encouragement this time from the other way around, like usually people encourage me, and then now I'm encouraging someone, right? It feels quite good actually. Like surprisingly, it can be quite fulfilling. And now I know why people want to be coach, because maybe they already passed their prime and they can't compete anymore for some reason, but you can still get that kind of achievement fulfillment by seeing someone compete. So I had no experience whatsoever, but I just told him like let's do it. Let's send you in for a show, and then from there we just all the way, man. And then he won. I was so happy. It's very different from a spectator's point of view. I think it's a very good learning experience for me. So who knows, maybe next time, because I don't even have a cert. I never took a fitness cert like to be a trainer. But maybe next time if I have time apart from my architecture job, I'll probably do it because I don't know who's the next person that I can train to,
It's like
achieve
sharing
what they
your
want.
passion of
Yeah,
helping
and,
each
and
other
like
achieve, right?
and the thing about me is like a lot of people from then on they contact me and then they say like, are you a trainer? Are you a trainer? Can you train me? Like can is possible, but I don't know why. For me, it's like I don't really feel comfortable to train the person unless I really see him with the same level of dedication at least that I saw in Gary. Because I know this guy can work, and I know this guy, even if I don't give him that structure, just now you were talking about structure, even if I don't give him that structure, his willpower is so high. He doesn't even need the structure, he just need some tips here and there. So I wouldn't really say I coached him, but I would say we trained together and I really pushed him very hard for the same kind of dream that I had 1 year ago. So I think when people ask me about that, I don't really entertain unless I really know them and then I see like this guy really wants how badly like how I wanted it, and all he needs is some encouragement. Then I will train the guy. But I don't see myself as like any guru or those online coaches. Nowadays you have so many people.
Yeah.
Online coaching, please DM me. It's like the guy. I don't know. It's quite funny. Like I trained for 11 years, but I don't even dare to call myself a coach yet. But these guys, after they competed, never really won. But online coaching, please DM me. But it's okay. I mean, maybe they're doing it for the money, I guess.
Maybe.
Yeah, I didn't
Or
even Gary didn't even pay me, man. I just do it because passion, man. You don't need to pay. Yeah.
yeah. So in that sense, right, I think what I'm hearing from you is that if any of the audience would like to work with you to really have your, in that sense, consultation or basically work out with you, is to
Yeah.
they need to have that already inbuilt hardworking
Yeah.
mindset.
You don't
It's a
have to have the
grind.
physique. Yeah, you don't have to have the physique, but you really have to say like, okay, like if I'm gonna work with someone, let's say I couldn't make it to the gym, but the person's always there on time. The person's never late, no excuses, nothing.
Yeah.
Those kind of people will go far.
Yeah. So it's basically having the correct mindset and the correct
Yeah,
attitude.
and attitude and like work ethic. Like
Yeah.
when the tough time come, they don't give up easily.
Makes sense.
Once in a while you fail, yes, that's normal human nature. But if you totally stop trying, that's when you know like that person is not cut off for this sport in particular.
That's very,
Yep.
very interesting.
Yeah. Sadly, not a lot of people like that. But it's okay. I mean, like, not everyone is meant to be a bodybuilder anyway. I'm not gonna be like, oh, you can't make it, so I'm not gonna train you. It's not that kind of thing. It's more like, if you say you really want it, then you just show that you want it.
Is there any advice that maybe budding and bodybuilders would want to avoid?
Avoid
Yeah, avoid.
like
Like when you were starting out, like people who were in your shoes, like when they were starting out, like what type of advice they should avoid? Like if they want to go like your path, like go
yeah.
natural
What they
pro,
so basically what they should they avoid? I
yeah,
think like
or like what advice people say they
yeah.
should avoid.
Okay, I think the biggest thing right now in given the era is like people are influenced too easily by social media. So I think like people train like 1 2 years, a friend asks them to compete, or even like, hey, you want to try this drug or supplement? I think just because everyone is doing it, they do it. So I think you really have to sieve out what's good for you and what's not. And I think avoiding advice, that there isn't really good or bad advice, I would say. And like even back then when I was younger, but it's more of like asking yourself, what do you want, or is it, are you just doing it because everyone else is doing it? Like herd mentality, like, or like everyone, or like all my friends are doing this routine, so it must be good that I do it. But rather you find out for yourself, try it out yourself. If it's not good, don't stick to it just because everyone stick to it. Don't do like chest, arms every day just because, I don't know, like just because you want like to look like Arnold. It doesn't work that way. It's like you really have to know what your body lacks and what you need to work on. Yeah, like in the past, yes, I train arms a lot. That's why my Instagram name is Arm Big Big. But
Yep.
if I'm gonna talk about like if you wanna bring it to the next level and competitive, you need to know what's your weak areas. And you need to work on them. Like now I'm trying to train legs 3 times a week, which is hard. It's painful. Arms is easy, man. Everyone can do arms. But not everybody is gonna look forward to doing legs. So I think that's the main thing. There isn't really anything anyone should avoid, but avoid being persuaded without the knowledge behind it. Like doing something just because your friend says or just because some guru says, but you must have the knowledge first. So you like, I think reading up a lot, like online. I mean, now there's so many resources. So
Yeah. So what I'm hearing from you is just being smart, listen whatever outside advice is,
yeah, you can
or
listen. People will
but
tell you,
process it
no, yes, like
and maybe
everybody's
test it
gonna say
out.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's gonna say something, but don't just listen blindly.
And proceed on to maybe more towards your other passion in terms of architecture.
Sure.
Yeah. So maybe you can tell us in that sense, like, is there like a favorite building that you have that holds dear to you?
So I'm not like a lot of the mainstream people will be like they have a famous building, but no, for me it's more like a style, and I really like Japanese architecture because there's something about Japanese architecture. Okay, the thing is that I never been to Japan before, so I'm really looking forward to my first trip to Japan. But from what I've heard, and what I've seen, like images, like Japanese architecture, it's not just architecture in terms of interior or exterior, but when you actually walk into the space, you can actually feel the aura, which is amazing because like there are some buildings that I went into like or like just observe. Like you can really feel the immensity of the building compared to be it the material or like how they form the space and everything, spatial quality, that's the term. But I think Japanese architecture because of they use a lot of wood, timber and this kind of quality materials and in their climate is possible. So I think like they can actually create that feeling and that word is called Zen. Everybody use the word, it's very
Zen.
Zen like,
Yeah.
but what is Zen like? Like I think you can't really explain it. You have to feel it. Like you have to really be in that space that you know what Zen is. Going for yoga class and saying, I mean, I feel Zen. That's not Zen, man. So like I think architecture is amazing because the good ones, you can really feel the quality of that space. Yeah. So there's a famous like architect that I really like. He doesn't really use wood. He uses a lot of stone. His name is like Taro Ando. He's a Japanese architect. So like if you go and Google up his work and you can see like he uses a lot of light into the space. And the space is not even like very complex. It's not like commercial buildings. It's really like just mass and light. So like he creates like crazy spatial quality, which I was talking about, that when you go in you really feel that. And I'm not even the amazing part is right, I'm not even in the place. I'm just looking at the
Yeah.
photo, but I can feel it.
Wow.
So imagine I go there, like yeah. So that's one thing I really like. Like there's no like famous like Eiffel Tower or like Statue of Liberty. I'm not really that kind of architect, but I appreciate when you go in that space, you can really feel like do you feel more calm or do you feel more like it affects your mood. Basically, it affects your mood. I think that to me is successful architecture. Like some libraries I've been to, like you really go in, you really feel like it's a library. But others you go in, you just feel that it's just a building with books. It's a very big difference. Yeah. And like, so if you want me to talk about architecture, I've been doing it about the same as bodybuilding. Maybe 1 year more, 12 years. Yeah, because I started in polytechnic diploma, and then after that army, then work, then bachelor's, then work again, then master's.
So in
So
poly,
that's,
just to interject, in poly,
yeah.
what draw you to choose architecture as the diploma route?
Okay, this will be funny because two things. One, I'm very honored. Okay, so first, that year when I finished my O levels, my results are quite shitty. Okay, and then when I went to look at what courses I can, I'm not going to go junior college because I'm not going to study the same subjects again because I'm really not good at it and I didn't like it. Not saying not good, but I didn't like it. But the main point was that that year the cutoff was was achievable. Like usually architecture cutoff will be lower, but that year I think it was 17, and I got like 16, so I could get in. So that's the reason. One of the reasons, very straightforward. Like because if I don't choose that course, there's another course I can go. It's nursing. So I'm not. So it's either nursing or architecture, right? So like, and in school I did art and design, and that subject I actually scored the highest. I got like A. So naturally I would choose architecture over nursing because I have no idea about nursing, right?
And I don't think I can picture you as a nurse right
Yeah, I mean
now.
like I'm not saying it's bad. I think it's really noble job, but I don't know why at that age you're not as mature and your stereotype is like what like nurse is a lady for ladies, alright. That's just a natural stereotype. But it's not true. It's not true.
That's true.
So at that point it's like I just chose architecture just because it's not nursing and it's architecture. I just naturally chose that. And because I did art and design, the main thing is because I could draw and stuff. That's the main reason.
So
Yeah. The other
if you
yeah.
were to sorry if you were to choose if you had the choice of say any other courses, right, would you still choose architect?
Oh, like put away all the
Yeah,
point system
correct.
and
Put away,
what
put that
course
away.
will I choose?
Yeah, will you still choose architecture?
That is a very good question, man. Like I might have I might have chosen landscape architecture uh or something like engineering, like something I don't know, architecture at that point in time seemed too vague. Landscape architecture sounded cool to me because like I saw like all the urban design like like plants and green, and Singapore is like a best example of landscape. So I think that would be cool. And then engineering is because like I don't know, it sounds very
Practical.
yeah, it sounds very practical. Plus like in engineering there's so many different faculties, like there's chemical engineering, there's mechanical engineering, there's electrical, what have you. And yeah, just I wasn't really so particular about what course, but I knew there was something along that line. Definitely, not I'm not gonna do like things like accounting or like law, like those kind of stuff, or like doctor because I can't take blood. So I don't really, yeah. So it's more towards the construction industry side. Yeah,
Okay.
because
Okay.
I like to build stuff. Clearly, bodybuild. Yeah, that's the main thing, lah. But yeah, there's no. Maybe I would have chosen the same thing to be honest. Yeah.
Is there like a company that you plan to apply for in Sydney or anywhere in Australia?
Uh, at the moment, no. At the moment, actually, if you're the beggars can't be choosers, so I'm just applying everywhere, almost all the companies, and like there's this area in Sydney. It's quite popular for architecture firms, so it's called Surrey Hills. So it's like all the boutique architecture studios are there, and like that's the area I'm targeting in the future. But as of now, no, I don't have a particular company that I really like and I must go in because now it's really about getting the local experience. And with that local experience, then from there I can progress. I just need to have one foot in the industry. Yeah.
Okay. And from there, would you foresee yourself, say, staying in Australia, or because from what
Yes.
I hear, you love Australia. You love Australia.
Don't be
You
sad.
no, it's fine, it's fine. I mean, like because you also were quite passionate when you talk about the Japanese structure, Japanese building.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay, okay.
So
So
do
you
you
thought could
even
be
plan?
another region.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I can't really say because I don't know what it's like to live there. But Australia, I've been living here for about 4 years now, and I've been traveling since I was a kid. So like, they always say like when you go to somewhere, yeah, it's very nice and all, but it's only nice because you're a tourist, right?
Correct.
But living in Australia, it's different from a tourist, and I think I can live here because the lifestyle really suits me. And I think I've also heard like, yeah, Japan is really nice, but as a holiday, but the work-wise, I think it's
Yeah.
pretty stressful. In fact, maybe even worse than Singapore,
Yeah,
like
that's
in
right.
terms of
But
the work-life balance.
I think
So
they're
I don't
trying
know.
to cut down on that.
Yeah, but still, I won't know until I really live there. So if I had got a chance to study there, maybe I would have known whether it's a good choice. But the path was Australia, and yeah, I really like it here. The weather is good. It's not crazy, crazy. There's winter, but there's like one in 4 seasons. And even then, the winter is not like other countries in the north, like UK or something. So it's bearable. Yeah. So definitely looking to get a PR if I can, and a job, and just getting a house here, getting a home here.
Not building your own.
Yeah, of course, if I can, even better. But that will take time because like you have to be registered as an architect, so you need to work, get experience, and then you can build your own projects. But usually, you won't be a full-fledged architect. Usually, you'll be working in another firm for a lot of architects as a team. You won't be like starting your own firm. That is not as feasible for me, as especially I'm not local. Yeah,
Do you think your experience in Singapore? I understand that you have worked in
yeah,
Singapore with I think 2 firms.
yeah.
Do you think that those experiences will have spilled over potentially to help you with your?
Definitely, definitely, definitely. Because like the buildings in Singapore are pretty different. Here, there's a lot of terrain. So what I've learned from architecture firms in Singapore, it's definitely good because they are into more hospitality, residential, retail. It's more like mixed use in Singapore because you have lack of space, right? High density. So a lot of buildings in Singapore is not just one use, like just house. It's really like shopping center. Above shopping center, you have a condominium, and then you have like amenities. You have like retail, everything in one.
That's
So
right.
those projects were really good. Like it helps me to expand my experience. But here you have really specific projects. Like they could be like at Bondi Beach at the corner of the hill, they're just building one house for like a couple. So it's very interesting. Like I think like diversity is good. It's good to learn. Yeah, but I wouldn't say I'm very experienced in that sense. I think I've only worked like total, including internship, total maybe 5 years. So I'm really, really at the tip of the iceberg still, and like I'm just a fresh grad. So that's why I say I'm not very picky with what firms I can get, because whatever firm I go into, definitely I'll learn something, man. Yeah.
That's great. I think you also will have brought value to whatever firm that you will be learning on as well.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much for that. I hope so.
No problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe going on to the later part of the topic is that
Yeah.
how do you define success? So like maybe or in your later when if you look into the future, into the later part of
Yeah.
your years, like how do you tell like your children or potentially grandchildren if you have, like I have been successful or like this
Okay.
is
Like,
why
what?
I'm
How do you
successful.
define success? Basically, I think definitely. Okay, I don't know what it really is, but I know what it's not. So like, what is not is basically financial numbers like facts and figures, or even like achievements. I wouldn't say they are really successful. Like even my competition, like first place, I wouldn't really say that is the measure of success. But what I definitely know also is like, even though now I'm still at this stage where I don't really know what's gonna happen in 20 years, but I would say along the way you will meet some people, meet some opportunities, and it will help you think of what you really want, like a plan. Let's say along the way I really got into a firm and gonna be an architect, and then I have a plan like I'm really gonna design my own house one day. And if you're able to do something that you plan, I think that's successful. Yeah. So if you I were to tell your like the future like grandkids or what is success, it's really like what you want to do and you manage to do it. That to me is like really success. And that thing that you want to do is not really something small. It's not like I want to go Japan and I did it. That's not counted. It's really like you wanted to do something, strong desire to do something, but you have to go through a lot of struggles to achieve that. I think that is success.
That's nicely
Yeah.
defined.
Yeah, it's just whatever I felt at the moment, or like it's important. I didn't plan for any of this.
Okay, in the last 5 years, is there any new belief or behavior or even habit that has improved your life drastically? I think you mentioned about meeting, I think more of the Japanese
Yeah,
bodybuilder who
yeah,
encouraged you to go ahead, take up the courage to go ahead with the competing in
yeah,
bodybuilding.
yeah.
But on top of that, like, is there anything else?
On top of that, I think the yes, definitely there's like certain aspects of my architecture journey that kind of like made me change my mindset. I think towards like life, like really like having the passion to do something. I think whether is it fitness or whether is it like my career or school. I think like after 24, I think after I came out of army, maybe a few years later, after 24, 25, my mindset started to shift to more of like I don't really have to conform to society's norms. Like they always said like, oh, you're gonna be at this age, you're gonna do this, at this age, you're gonna do that, and then like you need to get married at a certain age, and then you're gonna buy a house at a certain age, buy a car. Like I think all these are like very. I mean, it's good. It's not that it's not good. It's just that I think my mindset shifted. Like I'm not really rushing anymore. Like if I really have to look and compare, let's say if I were to compare all my peers who started the diploma architecture with me, they're probably like some of them are even architects now. Some of them have been working for many years because they did the studies one shot. They after that they work and then they climb really fast. But like if I if there's one thing I learned, okay, now I remember this quote. Like if there's one thing I learned, it's like comparison is actually the robber of joy. Like if I always compare and compare, I will never be happy, right? So if you want to compare, compare is something that motivates you, not that something that takes the joy away. So if I really had to compare with all my other peers, I would be quite sad now because like they're all ahead of me and like I'm still studying and I'm not getting any younger. But I think on the bright side, my mindset shifted more to like it's really your own pace, your own timing, and like you have to trust like the journey. Yeah. Like even though I didn't finish my studies as fast, but I learned a lot of experience from work, and you never know, like it can really help next time. Yeah,
I think it's to each your own journey, right?
yeah, yeah. Really, like there's no competition here. Like not everything is about competing. So yeah, that's the biggest mindset shift I had after before bachelor's. Yeah.
Is there anything? Is there any event or any trigger that caused this mindset shift?
Not really a specific event or what, but it's more of like the process of like, okay, like I was working and I decided, okay, maybe if I stay in this firm, I could stay here all my life, but there will be no growth, right? So I decided to go bachelor's, and I was also very blessed. Like my parents could support me in that sense. Now I know not everyone has the means to pursue what they want due to financial restrictions, but I didn't want to let my parents down, and like the fact that they gave me that opportunity, I'm really grateful. So all the more I decided to go ahead with it, and really knowing that in the future it'll benefit me. But there's no really event that triggered me to have that mindset change. More of like when I was going through that process, I realized like even when I went bachelor's, everyone's younger than me in my class, almost. So I have to let that go, like let that comparison thing go, and that's why my mindset slowly shifted. Yep.
Wow. I think, as the saying goes, old man is Or the older the man gets, the wiser they get, right? Or the age
Yeah,
as fine as
that
fine wine, right?
yeah. So I think that to a certain extent that's true because like if you put me like 10 years ago, I don't even think of all this kind of stuff. So and these kind of things you can't learn. The life can be the teacher. Life is the only teacher. You can't like try to learn it in advance. You know. Yeah.
That's nice. So I think
Yeah.
we can go on to the quick fire questions too. Then we can wrap up. I think it's a bit late on
Oh
your end
sure.
as well.
All good.
So
All good.
all right. So what is your favorite word for the first one? It can be a long answer. It could be a short answer. Really up to you.
I'll just stick. I'll play by the rules. So it's a word. So I think dedication is my favorite word because it
Nice.
encompasses like everything like of me. Like the essence of what I've been doing is dedication. Or like if I put my heart to it, I can do it. But something else, I say I want to do it, but I'm not really. I'm not. It's not. I want to do it, but I don't really want to do it. So I'm not really dedicated, and that's why in those areas I failed. I failed before. Be not bodybuilding but other areas, yeah. So I think dedication is really my favorite word.
All right. Next
Yeah.
one is what are you curious about right now?
Right now,
Not now, but as in your daily
like
life right now,
like
like in your
like
in your age right
in
now,
general,
in general. Yeah.
I'm really curious to see how far I can take my career in a foreign land. Yeah, I'm serious. I'm serious. Cause like it's totally different ball game here. Yeah, and it's a bit hard being away from everyone, but it makes it exciting as well. Cause like I guess when nothing is really on your plate, you you will work even harder. You know, if everything is given to you, like I said, like at your fingertips, you're in comfort zone, right?
That's right.
So I think that's something I'm looking forward to. In fact, I'm looking forward to next year already.
That's great, and it's close by.
Yeah, yeah. Not because this year is a shit year. It's just this year is a lot of struggles, but it can only get better from here, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Next one is go to comfort food.
Okay, Singapore style. It's
Anything.
a beef hor fun. Beef hor fun is like so good with egg. That's my go. But if you're talking about here, it's a good steak with a side dish of like pasta. Like it's like a mountain of pasta. Yeah.
Okay, I think maybe you might have answered the next question, but I'll just ask it anyway.
Oh, what is
First
it? What is
local
it?
food when you'll be back in Singapore.
Oh no, it's different. That one is comfort food, but first local food I'll go back is actually the kwa tang. So it's like pig liver soup.
Oh,
Yeah,
huge difference.
I miss that. I miss that because like I used to stay at Whampoa, so it's like all the pig
Mm,
liver soup, the pig liver soup with the rice and the xian cai, right? Wow, so good. Like I can eat that anytime, morning and night supper anytime.
all right, the last two question is
Sure.
the second last one will be if you could have a workout session, right, with anyone, any three person, either alive or dead, like who would it be?
Or like really gym workout.
Gym workout. Would Arnold be on your list?
Three, definitely. but the hard part is I don't know who the other two men.
Doesn't matter, up to three then.
Up to three. I think just probably just Arnold.
Then
Only
okay, then
because like I just want to pick his brains. It's not so much of like the gym workout. Like if I can choose, I will choose like all the Mr. Olympia. But like I think he's really different. Like cause his mindset is really the capability. His mindset is incredible. I read his like autobiography, like, it's crazy. Yeah. Like how he thinks is very different. But you need me to name two more people or do need?
no, it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. Arnold is fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I think the last question will be very similar, but if you could have a dinner with any three person, like who would it be?
Oh, that's a bit different, I guess. Uh, I think definitely that famous architect, Tadao Ando. Um, simply because like he's one of like I would say like the older generation of architects, so it's very wise. Like you say, older is wiser, and I think so. The other two people, this is actually tough, man. But the other two people, I think one of them would definitely be
Okay, maybe to help you, right? The
yeah,
other
yeah.
two people will be outside of architect and outside of bodybuilding.
That doesn't really help. No, I'm just let me think. Yeah. I was actually thinking of someone not from that field, but there's so many. Let me see. Oh, okay, Dead or Alive, yes. Lee Kuan Yew for sure, man. Man, like without that guy, we're not even here. That's a fact.
That's true.
And
He,
like,
he really
yeah,
paved way for Singapore.
for everyone, man. Even maybe even not Singapore, like other countries as well. But I think I actually gonna meet him once, but not like conversation. Like I was like still a kid, and then like it's like I don't know. It's like we didn't even have a conversation, but I think that moment I'll never forget. Like I was at the zoo with my mom, then he and his wife were on the tram passing by, and then as like everyone's waving now, so I'm a kid, I'm waving, and then he didn't see me, but the wife saw me, and then the wife tapped him and pointed at me, and then he turned and he waved at me. So to me that was like big enough.
Wow.
It's very
Wow.
touching, man. Like he really like. I mean, he can ignore, right? He doesn't have to wave at me, but like the wife was very nice and like told him that there's this kid waving at him. So he really turned and he waved at me, and we're not very far away, so it's definitely not someone else. I know it's me. Yeah, yeah. So that was good. Yeah. But sadly, unfortunately, I never met him. Yeah.
Last person?
Last person. Actually, I was thinking of like a politician, someone, but to be honest, like I only know like Barack Obama. So like I just wanna I don't know, he seems like not the typical kind of politician. He looks like someone approachable, even though he's like that high level, because like he's very down to earth. I think it's good to like meet this kind of people. But for my third person, I don't really have like even if you ask me like someone great like Michael Jordan or Muhammad Ali or like even like Nelson Mandela, like I think in terms of ranking number three, I'll definitely choose one of these people. I don't really have a particular third
Maybe we
person.
can roll a dice, right?
Yeah. I really like you can learn something great from any of these people because they're really like one of a million, like one of a kind. Yeah.
All right. All right. Very, very interesting choice of
Yeah.
people who you like to have dinner with.
Basically, one is architect, then one is the founder of Singapore, and the third person is a sort of celebrity real influencer, not the social media kind of people,
Yep.
real celebrity, big figure that actually change like touch people's lives, not just some actor or dancer or something.
Very, very interesting. All right. So last two component of the whole
Sure.
talk show. So it's really advice. Is there any advice that you would like to give to any just now I think we talked about bodybuilding. Maybe we can touch on
Yeah.
architects. So any budding architects or students in that sense who were very similar in your shoes, who were deciding whether to take on architect as their diploma. Do you have like any advice for them?
I think the main thing is that you really have to have the passion because if not, you won't be sustainable. Like architecture, the number of people who drop out is crazy, man. Like at the start, they join because it looks fun and like drawing and stuff. But in the end of the day, like, do you really wanna spend that much time to design something that maybe benefits someone else, not really yourself? And you actually have that sense of satisfaction when you see something being built. Like even when I was working in a firm, like we built like this uh auditorium, but this auditorium is not just a normal auditorium. It's actually uh it's a theater for performances, but it's catered to the senior citizens in that uh estate. in Singapore. So that to most people is just an auditorium, man, or it's just a theater. But the satisfaction comes when you actually see or actually know people are going to use that space and they're going to be happy because you did it well. You didn't just do like a crappy job. So I think one very important thing is you must be able be very humble and know that you're not going to be building like Eiffel Tower or some 8, 9, 10 wonder of the world, but it could be a very simple design in terms of architecture. But are you okay to not be the star? You just the people just use it, they're very happy, and they might not even know that you did that project.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's quite deep.
yeah. I just speaking from my heart, bro.
Good to hear that. Good to hear that. Okay, so where can the audience find you online? I previously mentioned about your Instagram at
I think I'm the biggest on Instagram at the moment out of all the social media platforms because it's easier to use. So it's big. Maybe next time when I work, I'll create a architecture one.
Maybe
So
you should like document all like the
like
buildings.
it's more to target people who are more interested in architecture rather than fitness because maybe not everyone's into fitness. And then Facebook is just Marcus Koh Ziwei, KOHZHIWEI. And then YouTube is not really active now because it really takes a lot of time and you need actually a team of people to do YouTube consistently. You can't do it alone. I've tried it. It's almost impossible. You need like one whole day to video edit and you won't be able to achieve anything. You won't be able
you
to
have your
achieve.
studies, you have your bodybuilding, your architect.
It's not feasible. You if you can do it alone, it's possible, but you won't be able to progress.
Yeah, as you mentioned, I think it's like dedication, right? So you really have to put your time, your effort, your
heart and
energy.
soul. Yeah, like if you know that if you sacrifice everything else and you can be a YouTuber to earn money, then go for it.
Yeah.
But I just choose something else. Yeah.
All right. Is there any other parting words, like last parting words for the audience?
Not really. I'm just happy and thankful to be on this show, and yeah, I'm looking forward to see the other people that you actually interview and learn from them.
Sure, definitely. I think there are a few maybe in terms of some mindsets. I think maybe you would find very similar, and maybe you would be able to learn from them as well.
I think it's always good to expand the network and meet these kind of people. Maybe in real, I mean, even if I don't meet them in real life, but connect with them online.
Sure.
I think it's important.
That's true. All right, thanks, Marcus. Hope you have a great evening and night over there.
Yeah, morning. It's already morning, but yeah, I'll have a good rest.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for your time also.
No problem. Thank you so much. Hey, thank you for listening to my interview with Marcus. Here are my takeaways. 1. Reflect on your processes. Tweak based on your results. What got you here might not bring you to the next level. 2. Following the norm might not be beneficial to your own progress. Think, reflect, and choose the right path for yourself. 3. Comparison is the robber of joy. Trust the journey. Someone else might be faster or slower on theirs, but your journey is yours to own. Do let me know your takeaways from this hot pot mix of insights. Cheers!